Welcome to study number 7 in Search the Scriptures. Trying to record several different ones today. Got a little bit behind. We are on Numbers chapter 11 and chapter number 12 today. I'm going to answer just 2 questions from these 2 chapters. The first one, what different attitudes are shown here by the people, the rabble, Joshua, Miriam, and Aaron, and Moses, and how does Moses stand out as different? And secondly, how did God deal with the various complaints that were made? Well, let's look at Numbers chapter number 11 and chapter number 12. Beginning with chapter 11 in the first verse, now the people complained about their hardships in the hearing of the Lord, and when he heard them, his anger was aroused. And then fire from the Lord burned among them and consumed some of the outskirts of the camp. When the people cried out to Moses, he prayed to the Lord, and the fire died down. So that place was called Taberah, because fire from the Lord had burned among them. The rabble that was with them began to crave other food, and again the Israelites started wailing and said, if only we had meat to eat. Now the rabble would be those people that came out of Egypt that were not Israelites, but nonetheless came out with Israel. Verse 5, we remember the fish we ate in Egypt at no cost. Also the cucumbers, the melons, the leeks, the onions, the garlic. But now we've lost our appetite. We never see anything but this manna. The manna was like coriander seed and looked like resin. The people went around gathering it and then ground it in a hand mill or crushed it in a mortar, and they cooked it in a pot or made it into cakes. And it tasted like something made with olive oil. And when the dew settled on the camp at night, the manna also came down. And Moses heard the people of every family wailing, each at the entrance to his tent. And the Lord became exceedingly angry, and Moses was troubled. And he asked the Lord, why have you brought this trouble on your servant? What have I done to displease you, that you put the burden of all these people on me? Did I conceive all these people? Did I give them birth? Why do you tell me to carry them in my arms, as a nurse carries an infant to the land that you promised on oath to their forefathers? Where can I get meat for all these people? They keep wailing to me, give us meat to eat. I cannot carry all these people by myself. The burden's too heavy for me. If this is how you're going to treat me, put me to death right now. If I found favor in your eyes, and do not let me face my own ruin. The Lord said to Moses, bring me 70 of Israel's elders who are known to you as leaders and officials among the people. Have them come to the tent of meeting, that they may stand there with you, and I will come down and speak with you there, and I will take of the spirit that is on you, and I will put the spirit on them, and they will help you carry the burden of the people, so that you will not have to carry it alone. Tell the people, consecrate yourself in preparation for tomorrow, when you will eat meat. And the Lord heard you when you wailed, if only we had meat to eat. We were better off in Egypt. Now the Lord will give you meat, and you will eat it. You will not eat it just for 1 day or 2 days or 5 or 10 or 20, but for a whole month, till it comes out of your nostrils and you loathe it, because you've rejected the Lord who is among you and have wailed before him, saying, why did we ever leave Egypt? But Moses said, here I am, 600,000 men on foot, and you say I will give them meat to eat for a whole month? Would they have enough if flocks and herds were slaughtered for them? Would they have enough if all the fish in the sea were caught for them? The Lord answered Moses, is the Lord's arm too short? Will you now see whether or not what I say will come true for you? So Moses went out and told the people what the Lord had said, and he brought together 70 of their elders, and he had them stand around the tent. And then the Lord came down in the cloud, and he spoke with him, and he took the spirit that was on him and put the spirit on the 70 elders. And when the spirit rested on them, they prophesied, but they did not do so again. However, 2 men whose names were Eldad and Medad had remained in the camp, and they were listed among the elders, but they did not go out to the tent. Yet the Spirit also rested on them, and they prophesied in the camp. The young man ran and told Moses, Eldad and Medad are prophesying in the camp. Joshua son of Nun, who had been Moses' aide since youth, spoke up and said, Moses, my Lord, stop them. But Moses replied, are you jealous for my sake? I wish that all the Lord's people were prophets, and that the Lord would put his Spirit on them. Then Moses and the elders of Israel returned to the camp, and now a wind went out from the Lord and drove quail in from the sea. It brought them down all over the camp to about 3 feet above the ground, as far as a day's walk in any direction. All that day and night and all the next day the people went out and gathered quail. No one gathered less than 10 homers. Then they spread them out all around the camp. But while the meat was still between their teeth and before it could be consumed, the anger of the Lord burned against the people, and he struck them with a severe plague. Therefore the place was named Kibroth Hattaavah, because there they buried the people who had craved other food. And from Kibroth Hattaavah the people traveled to Hazeroth and stayed there. Chapter 12. Miriam and Aaron began to talk against Moses because of his Cushite wife, for he had married a Cushite. Has the Lord spoken only through Moses, they asked. Hasn't he also spoken through us? And the Lord heard this, and now Moses was a very humble man, more humble than anyone else on the face of the earth. At once the Lord said to Moses, Aaron, and Miriam, "Come out of the tent of meeting, all 3 of you." So the 3 of them came out. Then the Lord came down the pillar of cloud, and he stood at the entrance to the tent, and he summoned Aaron and Miriam. When both of them stepped forward, he said, "Listen to my words. When a prophet of the Lord is among you, I reveal myself to him in visions, and I speak to him in dreams. But this is not true of my servant Moses. He is faithful in all my house. With him I speak face to face, clearly, and not in riddles. He sees the form of the Lord. Why then were you not afraid to speak against my servant Moses?" The anger of the Lord burned against them, and he left them. And when the cloud lifted from above the tent, there stood Miriam leprous, like snow. And Aaron turned toward her and saw that she had leprosy, and he said to Moses, "Please, my Lord, do not hold against us the sin we have so foolishly committed. Do not let her be like a stillborn infant coming from its mother's womb with its flesh half eaten away." So Moses cried out to the Lord, "O God, please heal her." The Lord replied to Moses, "If her father had spit in her face, would she not have been in disgrace for 7 days? Confine her outside the camp for 7 days, and after that she can be brought back." So Miriam was confined outside the camp for 7 days, and the people did not move until she was brought back. And after that the people left Hazeroth and encamped in the desert of Paran. Okay, let's look at these questions once again. What different attitudes are shown here by the people, the rabble, Joshua, Miriam and Aaron, and Moses, and how does Moses stand out as different? Well, the people in the rabble, first of all, complained about their hardship, complained about their diet. Joshua complained about the idea of having to share power, and Miriam and Aaron thought they deserved a promotion. Moses, on the other hand, was given the distinction as being more humble than anyone else on the face of the earth. While the others craved leadership and attention and better food, Moses would have gladly laid it all down. Second question, how did God deal with the various complaints that were made? Well, God dealt swiftly and creatively in his discipline of the various factions. He destroyed some by fire. He gave others the diet that they wanted until they were sick to death of it, literally. And he also had Moses openly rebuke Joshua and turn Miriam into a leper.